Hey, Patricia. How you doing, love? Two on one light. Let's keep them matched. Too hot getting sick. I know that feeling. It is 94 degrees here right now. I can't, I can't handle it. Well, when I was young, it didn't make no difference how hot it was. I'm still out there in it. But now, that heat just takes my energy and everything else, makes me cough. And then if I ever cough too much, I get sick. Like I'm too hot to do anything out there. Terrible. It's terrible. Let me see if I can turn this around. Get it focused right.
I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
When Belinda Gray, the paternal grandmother of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, spoke with quiet resolve, declaring, "I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them." It wasn't a mere theory or a burst of panic. It was a profound certainty, emanating from a woman who had once held those children close. She didn't resort to shouting or pointing fingers, nor did she seek media.
Now on this one here, it says, Grandma burst into tears and said the children were dead. Lilly and Jack Sullivan. And I'll say that again. From the grandma, burst in tears and said the children were dead. Lilly and Jack Sullivan. I've heard her say they were malnourished, which I don't know. All we know is that Rose said that they looked very sickly and that they were changing color to near about blue. So let's just see what this one has to say. If it ain't changing any from what we seen yesterday, I'll go to a different one.
Your attention. Instead, her calm voice cut through weeks of commotion, speculation, and unsettling silence. When a grandmother speaks with such unwavering conviction without needing to raise her voice, you can't help but pause and truly listen. Her words weren't just impactful. The manner in which she delivered them was equally significant. It was the heavy truth of someone who had silently carried this fear for an extended period, now finally articulating it aloud. This wasn't theatrical drama or lingering bitterness. This was the sound of someone revealing a truth they'd held within all along. Some might dismiss her statements as emotional or purely speculative. However, this isn't just any voice. This is the voice of someone who cradled Lilly to sleep, who remembers Jack's serious, inquisitive eyes, and how he rarely laughed. This is someone who avoided the spotlight,
Hey, Kathy.
didn't pursue cameras, and
I'm
refrained
trying
from
to get
posting
this
online
straight.
updates. She maintained her silence. Until now. And that silence holds immense weight. Because when a person like Belinda Gray, not a reporter, not a detective, but a grandmother, finally breaks her silence, and the first thing she states is, "I believe they were hurt," we are compelled to stop and consider. What has she witnessed? What has she felt that instilled such firm, unhesitating belief? She may not possess a police report or surveillance footage. She isn't here to construct a legal case. But what she does possess is precisely what so many others involved in this story seem to lack.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, that's the first granddaughter. And I love that she had the
Forged in small moments, 2 cereal bowls at the table, 2 seats in the back of the car. Child who would impulsively run off without a thought. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't bold. He was follow her everywhere. You can hear the tenderness. He wasn't the kind of child who would impulsively run off without a thought. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't bold. He was deliberate, intentional. And always, always right behind Lily. She was his compass, his anchor, his joy. She doesn't cry, she whispers, because Jack was quiet. Because Jack saw everything. And somehow, despite being so...
The mama of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me.
You. We believe you might be holding back information. And so, the kitchen, often the vibrant heart of a home, easily they leave behind traces. But this time there was nothing, just stillness. A stillness that didn't feel like hiding. It felt like an absolute absence.
There's the fella I think is the third party of this mess. Uh, so they're ready and got their backpacks on, and she don't have boots on, she has shoes on. He has shoes on. He don't have boots on.
Actors, we can make you believe we know what we're doing, when in fact, we do not.
Ever being there. So what changed? But they didn't go deep into the woods. Why did the search quietly stop and a family-focused investigation quietly begin? Why? After more than 30 days of silence, are investigators still circling the home instead of expanding the grid? And most important of all, what does this shift in focus say about the likelihood that Lilly and Jack are still out there, waiting to be found? Welcome to one of the most haunting child disappearance cases in recent Canadian history, and a story where the deeper you look, the darker it gets.
We've seen that one too.
The investigation and its failures. The disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan was first reported. Lilly and Jack Sullivan have been missing for over a month. Dozens of voices have spoken out. Some confirmed, some unverified. Rumors spun into wild theories, finger pointing, speculation, desperation. Only one side stayed silent, the police. Nearly 20 days, no updates, no statements, no presence. And then, suddenly they speak. New confirmations, new claims. But why now? To calm the public? Or because the case just turned? What are they really trying to tell us? And what are they still hiding? The confirmation from RCMP. For the timeline of the day of the disappearance, on the morning of May 2, 2025, at approximately 10 a.m., the Royal Canadian Mounted Police confirmed that they received a 911 call from Malia Brooks Murray, the mother of 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. She told dispatchers that her children were missing from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. According to her statement, she had heard the children playing earlier that morning in a nearby room. She said she fell back asleep, and when she woke up, they were gone. Also present in the house was Daniel Martel, her partner, and the children's stepfather, though it's unclear exactly when he realized the kid.
Oh, I loved it. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to move the speaker back just a little bit so you guys can hear it a little bit better.
Were missing before the call was made. RCMP officers responded quickly to the scene. Resources were deployed almost immediately. Drones with thermal imaging, canine units, and aerial surveillance teams combed the surrounding forested area. By 4:55 p.m., the RCMP issued an official missing persons bulletin, but there was no Amber Alert. According to protocol, such an alert requires a confirmed abduction or a known suspect, and in this case, neither existed. Instead, a vulnerable persons alert was issued, recognizing that the children were extremely young and at risk. What makes this case especially troubling is the unaccounted time window between 6:30 a.m. and 10 a.m., a critical 3.5-hour gap that remains unexplained. Malia's claim about hearing the kids earlier in the morning hasn't been verified by any outside witness. In fact, no one, not neighbors, not delivery drivers, not surveillance footage, can confirm seeing or hearing the children that day. There are no verified digital records, no GPS data, and no signs of forced entry or struggle in or around the home. In effect, Jack and Lilly vanished silently, without a trace, in the time between when their mother claims she last heard them and when she called 911. Several details surrounding that morning don't add up. The sliding glass door, which Daniel later said the kids usually opened themselves to play outside, was reportedly closed that day. Daniel also made contradictory statements about what Jack was wearing, first saying he was in a pull-up, then changing his story to say Jack had on a brown shirt and brown pants, adding that Lily's backpack was probably brown now, from being left outside. The repeated mention of the color brown in 3 unrelated ways caught the attention of online investigators and behavioral analysts, who noted that liars often rely on repetitive or over-explained details. This 16:30 to 10 a.m. window has become a central focus of the investigation. It's a time in which everything depends solely on the statements made by the 2 adults inside the home, and nothing can be independently verified. The lack of clear, corroborated information, combined with subtle contradictions, has led investigators and the public alike to question the truth about what happened to Lilly. And Jack is being hidden. If there is an answer to this mystery, it likely lies in what occurred, or didn't occur, during those early morning hours before the police were ever called. For the direction of the investigation, the RCMP treated this case as a routine missing persons situation.
They were done gone a
Officers
week
responded
before they ever
swiftly,
called
believing that Jack and Lilly Sullivan
911.
had simply wandered off and could be found quickly,
Dummy.
just like many other cases involving young children. This case started just like what you're describing. You thought you'd go there, find them very quickly. That reflected on how the case initially appeared to be straightforward. But things didn't unfold as expected. As days passed with no trace of the children, the nature of the investigation shifted. The RCMP has since acknowledged that they haven't had any confirmed sightings of Jack or Lilly. That's an alarming reality, especially in missing children cases, where some form of verified sighting usually emerges within hours or days. The complete lack of visual confirmation has pushed this case into more suspicious territory. According to RCMP policy, every missing persons case is automatically considered suspicious until proven otherwise.
With this AI tool, you can turn your story into a beautifully illustrated children's book.
So every missing persons investigation is suspicious until it's proven that it's not. This fundamental approach gives investigators the scope to treat even the most seemingly benign disappearances as potential crimes until facts say otherwise. As one officer put it, we have to continue to assume that it is suspicious and access those resources and until we find the people that are missing. Despite lacking any direct evidence of abduction, the RCMP has not ruled it out. They clarified that. To be clear, we don't have evidence to suggest that an abduction took place at this time. But they immediately followed with the fact that they're exploring all investigative avenues. This includes abduction as one of the scenarios under review, alongside the possibility of a tragic accident or concealment by someone known to the family. What's especially unsettling is how RCMP officials have openly admitted they can't explain how 2 small children could just vanish. When asked point blank, how do 2 young children just vanish? The spokesperson responded vaguely, asking the public for tips instead of providing clarity. The evasiveness hints at the seriousness and complexity of the investigation, either because they don't know or because they can't yet disclose what they do know. When pressed whether the RCMP actually knows what happened to Jack and Lilly, they didn't say yes or no. Instead, they repeated, "We're exploring all investigative avenues." That ambiguity, paired with the absence of suspects, sightings, or hard leads, keeps the case in a state of heightened suspicion. At this point, the investigation remains legally categorized under the Missing Persons Act, not as a criminal case. However, the scale and nature of RCMP's actions, widened timelines, national tip tracing, evidence reviews, and media appeals mirror the structure of a major criminal investigation. While no criminal charges have been filed, and no suspect has been publicly named, the behavior of authorities suggests they are actively considering that a crime may have occurred. In short, although the RCMP lacks definitive proof of foul play, their strategy clearly reflects the possibility that this is more than just a disappearance. And until Jack and Lilly are found, or concrete evidence is presented, the case will remain open, unresolved, and officially suspicious. When asked whether Jack and Lilly Sullivan could still be alive, the RCMP repeatedly avoided giving a direct answer. Instead of confirming or denying it, officials emphasized that their primary goal remains to locate the children. One spokesperson responded, "That's a great question, and our goal is to investigate every single avenue until we find them." Even when pressed with, "Is it possible at this point?" the response was equally vague, refocusing on the importance of finding evidence related to their disappearance rather than addressing the question head-on. The RCMP has stated that, to date, there have been no confirmed sightings of Jack or Lilly, a fact that adds to the uncertainty and deepens public concern. Officials also acknowledged that they must be extremely careful about what information is shared, specifically noting that premature disclosures could interfere with the investigation. While there
domestic violence allegedly going on in the house. Now we have reports that CPS has been to the home for some reason. There has been allegations saying that about the home's condition and the children's learning issues. So, but we're not particularly sure why they've been out there. Now, I have an idea. So I kept thinking, why wouldn't, why, if she did give the kids to somebody else and she wanted out of that situation, why would she do this for? And why not, you know what I mean? There's just so many things. Why not have the grandmother pick them up and say, they're staying at grandma's house? Say he was a controlling person, allegedly, just thinking, and she couldn't get the kids out of there any which way. What if she did hand the kids off to somebody, but it was because CPS was threatening on taking Jack and Lilly from her? Maybe CPS was coming out to take the children, so she had the children go off with somebody that she knows to take them elsewhere. What do you think? Now, Meadow was with both Malaya and Daniel at the time, so it's not like she could get the baby out of the...
I think if she was going to do that, she would have did it with all three. I don't think she would have just got rid of two and kept one. I think the theory of handing the children over to someone, hey Ashley, could be so. That third party that I was talking about there, that guy. But, too many family members and whatnot is already saying that, they're deceased and all this. And then you got YouTubers saying they're alive, just they're blowing it up, just like they done on every other case. If you look at that guy that is a third party, he don't sit to me like he's the type of person to deal or have patience with a child. So I understand this woman's theory, but it just ain't so. How like a woman knows a woman, man knows a man, and he does not have any tolerance for children. So if she handed them off to him, it was for a reason, not to be safe, if you get my drift. um, yeah, CPS was trying to get involved again and take the kids and the baby. Through the grapevine, heard tell that that her mom had the baby, but CPS was still coming to get the baby, and I believe that's why she ran off again. So I think the facts are just twisted here. You could tell from someone if they are, you know, would be, decent with a child or have some patience. Like when you look at Malaya, you can see she has no love, no caring, no anything for them children except for the baby. And I believe that the child may not be Daniel's, and she knows that, and she knows he's just good enough to get a daggum DNA sample and find out. And around here, you get caught cheating around here, you're gonna find yourself up in a ditch somewhere. You know, that's just the way it is nowadays, and that's what she's probably afraid of. Said he was controlling. She's probably got tired of his ways. The kids was getting on her nerves. Okay. And then, you know, hand them off if that's the case and say, look, I can't do this no more. Do something with them. I believe when she went to the car and sat for about 45 minutes, she thought it through. And she knows right where to put the kids. And in that 4-page I got, said something about a rural area, something about a cousin or something. And I asked somebody, I think it was Joni, asked me to ask if they had seen a whale. And they said, yeah. But come find out, the whale was on her great grandpa's property. If it ever once crossed her mind of that, then that's who they're getting out of. Now, that they've been digging, got that court order, done found teeth and some children's bones. I think she just had her boiling point. She flipped her gourd and did something awful, and the guy could have hauled them off to that place. They say it's not far from where they're at now. And Daniel's trying to cover her tracks. I mean, which is ignorant, but knowing good well they'd get him in trouble. But I see where this woman's going with this. And that it just don't add up.
The home and without telling Daniel, hey, so if she was doing this per se to get the children so CPS didn't take them away from them, but she didn't tell Daniel anything about it. Say she had.
I can tell you right now, if he got up one morning and them children were not there, not only I believe he would call the authorities, but he would put all the blame on her to start with. This is something they have talked through. They've talked about before. I mean, this ain't just no all of a sudden thing. It's been building up to this. Hey Yorkie, how you doing? Welcome to JSV. If you like this kind of content, give it a subscribe. Thank you very much. I think, no, I don't think, I believe Daniel loved these children more than she did. But there's something somewhere that caused her not to let him to be, or that he can't be around Meadow. I don't know if it's because of his past history or what, but they're not saying that he couldn't have been around Jack and Lilly. So why did this all of a sudden come up that he couldn't see the children? And then I seen that comment a while ago that they were supposed to allow him to be able to see Meadow. And if she was on the run with Meadow and her mom had full custody of the child, they would have had to have charged her with kidnapping. Now, the mom would be the only one that could press charges unless state picked it up. If state picks it up, it's out of all of them's hands. So again, I see where she's going with this, but it's just not accurate.
Had somebody come pick up the two kids, and then all this happened. So if the children are still alive, then this could be a...
But why just the two children? Why not go ahead and get them all? If you're that bad of a person, you can't tolerate the children. What do you think Meadow's gonna do when she gets their age, the other kids' age? Okay, she think everything gonna be different? Nah, something ain't adding up there. Sure ain't, because I'd be ignorant. Take your kids to go haul them off, but keep one and do away with the other two? No, that's ignorant. I don't care how you look at it. That's just stupidity.
A reason why she had somebody come pick them up, and a reason why she has not been in the media attention. Now people are saying, well, if she had somebody pick the kids up, then why didn't she just tell the police? Why didn't she just tell the police what was going on in the home if it was a domestic violence issue?
Why did she not take and call? Let me turn this damn thing around. How come? Sorry, guys. How come she didn't tell tell whoever come get them to take all of them? Why couldn't she just call CPS and say, look, just come get them, I can't deal with it? Don't make much sense, does it? I'm telling you, I believe she flew off the handle. Something bad happened. And that third party feller keeps running his mouth, knows too exactly where them children are. And I think that's how come her and Daniel blew up, and had a spat, and I believe that's why the family got involved. Apparently, I wouldn't believe for 1 second that guy is even a kinfolk to her. I mean, it's definitely not been stated proof that he is. She's not the type of person to want to see the aftermath. You know, she did something terrible. That's why she don't want to go back in the house, because she'd have to see that over and over. Which I'm sure every time she closes her eyes, that's what she sees. But logic is usually the main thing. Works out best that way. Why in the world call someone over and not tell your husband that, hey, look, I'm sending my kids off. I don't want to do nothing with them anymore. Now, I got on paper 4 pages, and you can hear Lilly plain as day say, I guess they got their wish. We're not here anymore. No, she's not right in the head at all. Can't be. I don't care how bad bipolar you are or whatever you are. You still know the difference between right and wrong. Hey, Sabina. Yeah, it's the doctor's office. Be daughter. Hope everything works out okay. Hey, Shona. If she did hand off, if she did hand off the children, say at the end of the driveway, that's where the dog lost the scent, right there. That would explain that part. But the children both saying that they did see a whale, said it was cold. And then heard Rose say, I just see mud. I just don't get it. Too many facts that's told that's turned out to be lies, so who are you supposed to believe? It sure as heck ain't gonna be her. And you know, and besides, that'd be stupid saying that both kids went wandering off in the woods in the first place. Y'all seen how that was a thicket in there? And then said he was up at 6:30 because he was getting kids ready for school. She said they was in and out of sleep. The kids was outside playing, but they wasn't aware of it. How many times they gonna change their story before authorities start saying, look, stop with the lies, okay? I mean, y'all done told a million. Get your story straight and let's sit down and talk about it. I mean, a little bit of common sense goes a long way if you use it. But that statement that the kids made, that'll break your heart if you got a heart in your chest. And of course not. She don't want to walk back in that trailer. She don't want to hear nothing about it. She don't want to think about it. She's trying her best to block it out. You know, I don't understand why people, well, like her, CPS already done been all over them several times. I mean, and they ain't said for what, except for one time. And they said that the way they were dressed or something, or smelled or something at school, uh, so, after that, well, what else? What else are they? These kids went missing a week before they was ever told the 911 call ever come in. And in that 4-page note, it says we were in the back, pretty much talking about the back seat. And then it said truck. So it must have been a king cab. Yeah. They need to be in jailhouse. Get it over with. I mean, as mean as they are, and they may not think they are, they may not think that that's cruel. But to go to your grave without telling what happened to your children, you definitely ain't gonna like it when the Lord comes back. You know, that's the very thing that drugs do. It ruins families, it ruins homes, it ruins some of your best relationships you could ever have, and you lose the love of your child or children. You know, I wish they would just that guy, the third party guy. He's just going around enough, saying just enough to keep this thing going. And they figure that eventually it'll go to a cold case. Um, but they're wrong. I mean, I'm not going to let it go. And I'm pretty sure there's several others that's not going to let it go. It's not a coincidence that 2 children run off in something that dogs can't even go into. Now, what does now make a little sense is, yeah, they could have been put in a vehicle. Me too, York. Me too, Dagon. Uh, 15 years clean now. Uh, you know, but I still take a drink every once in a while. Yes, it's a distraction because he keeps wanting to say that the kids are alive. Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're ignorant to the fact. I mean, they'll eventually get it, like a joke. It might take them a little while to catch on, but that man, that third party, is saying, okay, the kids are alive. They're in somewhere. Forget where he said there's at. Said, but they're okay. All this. That's a bunch of bull. That's just all that is just someone else trying to gather views and not get confirmation. it seems to me a bit too easy to be able to call on Jack and Lily and get them to respond for them not to be. I know that's hard to say, but that's just the way it is. I heard Rose say, I see mud, I've seen a plane, talking about probably about a helicopter, and uh, Jack, the boy's voice said, helicopter. It's a helicopter. So every day, people are coming up with new theories. And, you know, it's kind of like a Bible. There's only one, well, two written. First Testament, Old Testament. Every word in it is the same. They just reroute it. You know, that's why they're different denominations. They take words out of perspective and change it, you know. Well, they're trying to do this very same thing and claim that none of them are guilty of nothing. But yet, now that he's told that he was up in time to get them ready and get off the school bus, they wasn't wearing boots. They wasn't wearing that stuff. Jack said something about yellow. He had something yellow on. I know it. I know it. I think that money had a factor in all this. I think that she probably felt that she's the only one doing anything. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows what he was doing on the side to get some money. And him just to wake up without knowing that she gave the kids away, that dog won't hunt. You know, you could take the cruelest, meanest person on the face of this earth, and even though they've hurt children in the past, now this is the truth, the meanest person ever, and you can take a child to that person and say, I want you to watch this child till I get back. That meanest person would lose his own life before he let anything happen to that child. When she was thinking about everything in the car, you know, probably the only thing kept coming to mind was, we got to get rid of them, you know. But how's it going to look with us just having Meadow and not them? We could say we was asleep and they went outside and we woke up and they were gone. I mean, yeah, pretty good idea to say, but you should have put something with it. Because nothing they're saying is true. And this feller talking, this third party feller, I bet he wears strap-on shoes because he wouldn't know how to tie his own shoes, how dumb he is. Why put yourself in the middle of this? That's about dumb. Unless he's been coaxed into it by Malaya. I think Daniel knows that someone has took off with the children. Daniel may not know exactly the point where. That could be what he's saying. But then again, they both could have been working together. Like I said, there's too many things that this could be. But it was no kidnapping. This is something they planned out for a good while. And now it's like a horseshoe coming back around to bite you in the butt. I mean, how ignorant can you be? Apparently pretty bad, because that's the only time a whale had even been brought up. Just when Joni said, ask them if they have been in a whale. And something about were you both together in a whale? And I heard it's cold or something, something like that. I don't remember how it went now. It's on one of them shows. But they need to watch out for this other feller. If CPS has got back the custody of Meadow, then I don't see reason why she would be still free, unless they're still waiting on something. If they're still waiting on something, I wouldn't be holding my breath, because they'll never tell it. Not until enough pressure's put on them. They'll have to go to the jailhouse, get the life scared out of them before they start talking. And whoever this new feller is, this third party feller, they need to get him for sure. I think maybe Lilly told her mom Daniel was touching her at bedtime. Well, I got that in that 4-page note there too. It said that he came in my room. I said, to wake you up? She said, no. I woke up. I said, did he shake you and try to wake you up? No. I said, how did he try to wake you up? She said, with his finger. That's all she said. With his finger. Yes, it's welcome here. If any of y'all, okay, no matter where you at, if y'all like this kind of content, then give it a subscribe, turn your notifications on all, so you'll be notified every time I upload or go live. And we don't just do paranormal stuff here. We do try to help find missing teens and children. But there's a lot of other things we do. We do family vlogs, all kind of stuff. We do challenges, you name it. Matter of fact, that still ticks me off. Something knocked my daggum hot sauce chefs down. But anyway, there's nights and times that we get on here and just talk and just see what we want to do. Sometimes we do a drawing, and whoever's name gets drawn gets to hear from a loved one. I mean, all kind of things. So we do a variety of things here. Something missing, I believe. Lilly, yeah. Content will join, get paid Thursday. You got my membership. Okay. If anybody, I tell them a lot of times if they want to donate to the channel, Uh, if they send it to, uh, uh, what was that? Um, Super chat or anything like that, they take 19% of it, and then you got to wait the following month where you get it. So I have people that donate and do things like that through Cash App, and you can find me with this logo uh, that you see here on my channel. There's a lot of John Holtz out there, they claim, but if you see this picture of my logo, that's the one you click on. Hit me up. I'll accept your friend request, and I'll give you my cash out, and you can do it that way. And I got some groups on Facebook too. You can join. Um, I don't. I don't know what else to say about it. He he's putting himself in a predicament. I mean, why would anybody do that if they're not coaxed into it? I mean, did him and Daniel have a falling out? Maybe she kind of looked at this fella like a sugar daddy or something. But it's not been proven that he's family. But if she is not in custody right now, then every one of them authorities up there need to be arrested, hauled to jail, and hire new people in, because that is neglect for them, for personnel that has been neglecting their children, um, putting up false claims, all this stuff. And if they're not going to uphold the law that they sworn to do, and yeah, they had to swear to uphold the Constitution rights here. If they're not going to do it, they need to step down and let somebody come in and do it. Can't keep letting them run free. They're going to think they got it made. See, that dog won't hunt. It will not. There's um, I don't know. Hey, that guy, third party filler. See, now he's got it like they're in so and so, they're taken care of, and all this, but yet none of it's proved to be legit. And again, if CPS has been involved with them over and over and over, what if you're tired of them? Why not just turn them over to them? They find them homes. And Meadow, same thing. I don't know why she wouldn't get rid of all three. Why just two? That don't make no sense. The only thing that would make sense out of that, and yeah, I hope everybody hears me clearly. The only way that I can see that could work out, the reason she was so determined to keep Meadow, is because Meadow was not Daniels. And if not, she would rather take it and hurt her own self out before anybody else could have a chance at it. They've got this thing so screwed up, they don't know their head and a hole in the damn ground. It don't make sense. You can sit and think. I've sat and thought. That daggum, it won't work. None of that makes sense. I mean, everything has changed from always in and out of sleep, or hurl them in the next room. And then they was outside playing, but we wasn't aware of it. Left the last door open about 16. That's a damn lie. He like not got it open himself the other day. Dummy. So, I don't understand. I don't understand authorities at all. They have more than enough to get them for neglect. And now that third party claims that he knows about them, they need to go ahead and lock him up too and get a confession out of him. And if it turns out that he's not telling the truth, then get him for interference with the investigation. It is not right through Daniel. It's not right through her. It's not right through her mama. It's not right through Malaya. I mean, it's not right for anybody. The real biological father of them children, it's not right to him neither. Nor his mama was make that their grandma. I hadn't seen them in about 3 years or so. Said that he would rather just let the mom have them. And that way there ain't no bickering back and forth, but he still don't want nothing to happen to him. And now all this has took place. So I don't blame him. I mean, I'd be pissed too, I have nothing else I know to say about it. Really. I mean, I guess suppose tonight we can call back out to Jack and Lilly and see if they still say the same thing. I wish that was up in Canada. She has no membership. Okay. So I guess tonight's going to be, again, Jack and Lilly Sullivan spirit box session. I'm sorry to hear that, love. Everybody throw out prayers for Kathy Mathis and her family. She lost her uncle yesterday. Bless you, love. Sure hate hearing that. Well, guys, I guess I'll go ahead and get off here. Like I said, she gets off at 7, so we'll probably be live around 8:30, something like that. Love every one of you, and I'll see you then.